if you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will confuse you. And black people are the most confused people on the planet, confused about everything. We're looking at this world around us and we're totally confused. Because that world is made by the white supremacists. And they are the greatest confusers on the planet. They're masters of confusion. How else can you control people over a long period of time without confusing them? It's an absolute must. Otherwise, you have to stand over each individual with a gun all day. The white supremacists don't do that. They stand over them with a gun every now and then. But on a day-to-day basis, they got everybody on automatic. Robots. They got everybody on automatic. Robots.
There's a time and a place for dancing and entertaining, but it's not in the middle of a war. What we need is calm and quiet thinking and analysis. See, this is why it is important to read the newspapers. See, this is why it is important to read the newspapers. Newspapers.
Let's see what we got. Okay? Once things were integrated, let's see what we got. So this next video, I don't even know how this showed up on my timeline. I can only say that it has to be the ancestors because I'm not really into baseball like that. But this clip right here, let me play. This is Reggie Jackson talking about what it was like in the beginning of integration.
Reggie, the baton has been passed for over a century here. We've been talking earlier about if it wasn't for the Willie Mays, the Jackie Robinson, the Reggie Jacksons, the three of us wouldn't have an opportunity to play. How emotional is it for you to come back to a play that you played with one of the greatest teams around?
Alex, when people ask me a question like that, it's like coming back here is not easy. The racism that I played here, when I played here, the difficulty of going through different places where we traveled. Fortunately, I had a manager and I had players on the team that helped me get through it. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody. People said to me today, I spoke, and they said, you think you're a better person? You think you won when you played here in Concord? I said, you know, I would never want to do it again. I walked into restaurants and they would point at me and said, can't eat here. I would go to a hotel and they say, then can't stay here. We went to Charlie Finley's country club for a welcome home dinner and they pointed me out with the N-word. He can't come in here. Finley marched the whole team out. Finally, they let me in there. He said, we're going to go to the diner and eat hamburgers. We'll go where we're wanted. Fortunately, I had a manager, Johnny McNamara, that if I couldn't eat in the place, nobody would eat. We'd get food to travel. If I couldn't stay in a hotel, they'd drive to the next hotel and find a place where I could stay. Had it not been for Raleigh Fingers, Johnny McNamara, Dave Duncan, Joe and Sharon Rudy, I slept on their couch 3-4 nights a week for about a month and a half. Finally, they were threatened that they would burn our apartment complex down unless I got out. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. The year I came here, Bull Connor was the sheriff the year before. And they took minor league baseball out of here because in 1963, the Klan murdered 4 black girls, children, in 11, 12, 14 years old at a church here and never got indicted. They were from the Klan. Life magazine did a story on them like they were being honored. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. At the same time, had it not been for my white friends, had it not been for a white manager, and Rudy Fingers and Duncan and Lee Myers, I would have never made it. I was too physically violent. I was ready to physically fight some. I'd have got killed here because I'd have beat someone's ass, and you'd have saw me in an oak tree somewhere.
Reggie.
Okay. Now, he talked about how he wouldn't have made it without the white coach, but understand that they were all making money off of him. Okay, remember that they wanted to integrate the baseball teams because the Negro leagues had the fun, had the talent. Their games were more interesting than the white leagues, and the Negro leagues were making more money. That is the reason why they integrated the Negro leagues, the Negroes into the white leagues. So they weren't trying to be nice to him because they like him. And I'm not here to sit there and say whether they do or they don't. I do know that they had a financial vested interest in him not leaving the team, in him making it through to the end, in him helping to bring that black talent and that black money from the Negro leagues right on over to the MLB. So I do know that. But, you know, he feels like they looked out for him. I'm not here to sit here and tell him that his experience is wrong. But I do know that, you know, they had a vested interest in things going well. So I wanted to talk about like who's sitting up there with him right here. So here, I believe this is David Ortiz. Reggie Jackson is a foundational Black American, and as you can see, it was not easy for him. And he took all of that bumps and bruises, whatever, and whatever psychological damage he went through, and look who is sitting up there with him. Both of them are Dominicans. I thought that Alex Rodriguez over here was Puerto Rican, actually. Maybe I thought that because he was with J-Lo. Maybe I just assumed he was Puerto Rican, but he's Dominican. So I find that very interesting that, you know, we have sit here and we have this black man who's sitting here talking about his black experience. And then we have two people whose ancestors fought not for that opportunity, but they're the ones that's benefiting from it. Look like everybody benefiting from affirmative action and civil rights and DEI, except for the people who are actually owed something. So now I just gave you two groups who have gotten something out of the deal. And we still got what? Goose egg? We got a spot for one player and now he's retired. How many? Are there any Black Americans in baseball anymore? Although baseball is kind of corny, and maybe that's why it's corny. Maybe it's corny because we ain't in it no more. Anyway, let's move on. So, the next thing we're going to talk about, we're going to roll right into DEI. Okay? Wait a minute. We're going to go, I have a little piece to show you on DEI. And so, Thorough Black Talk, Sister Keisha from Thorough Black Talk is the one who posted this video. I don't know who this lady is, but she sure did break this down. Okay, so let's talk about who benefits from DEI, because affirmative action and then DEI is Same poop, different toilet bowl. Okay, same poop, different flush. But however you want to say it, okay? It's garbage. It's not helping us, not one iota. Okay, so let's look at this video that Sister Keisha from Thorough Black Talk put up.
The real F around and find out moment is here. A lot of people are looking at the Black community thinking that we are the recipients and benefactors of DEI programs and affirmative action programs. And I know affirmative action is no longer, but whenever they hear the term DEI or they hear the term affirmative action, they look to the Black community thinking that we are the benefactor. Now, here's some information for you. The number one recipient of DEI are white women. That is according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And others fall under that group, under the minority group, the ethnic minority. Number one recipient under that group are Latino and Hispanic Americans. Number two are Asian Americans. Number three are Native Americans. Number four, individuals with disability. Number five, veterans. Okay? And number six, the LGBTQ plus community. And guess who comes last at receiving DEI benefits? Guess who comes last? That's right. Black Americans. Black people. Let me also say, you can do a Google search and you will see the primary benefactors of DEI programs are not only white women, but white men, white male CEOs. Those are the ones who have benefited the most from DEI initiative programs.
Okay, so breaking it down. The architects, the blueprints, the people who made, wrote, created the blueprint for Brown versus Education, which is the foundation for integration, was not us. And it benefited them more than it benefited us. And now the affirmative action has morphed into DEI, and now white women have found their Gucci-footed boots. As Bill Burr said, that have put their Gucci-footed, they didn't kick that boot in there. Now they are DEIs. We got everybody seems to be benefiting from, but us, everyone. So the next thing, I just wanted to read this article. It's a small article, a little short passage from this CNN article that I thought was very interesting. Here we go. There we go. Okay, CNN, DEI programs benefit many groups, not just Black and Brown communities. So we're just gonna skip all the way down. These ads be pissing me off. Okay, right here. White women, let's make it bigger because you probably can't read that. Let's look how it'll take up the whole page. It's crazy. White women have been the biggest beneficiaries of diversity programs. I can't read. Okay. Oh, I actually made it better. Okay. White women have been the biggest beneficiaries of diversity programs in the workplace, experts on DEI say. Many companies, I wanted to skip that part. White women have taken advantage of these programs, which in turn have helped their careers, Lichtenstein said. I think white women oftentimes don't recognize how much DEI initiatives have impacted their ability to rise in leadership levels and have a more equitable playing field, Lichtenstein said. Okay. So, according to the job search site Zippia, 76% of chief diversity officer roles are held by white people and 54% are held by women. So they are so oblivious. They don't even know, as they sit here and talk crazy about Black people, what we get and what we don't do and how we ain't that shit, blah, 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 blah. And it's the white women. They don't even realize that they talking to themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot. And this is something that I had said back about abortion a while ago. I was like, I'm not standing with no white standing next to, on the side of the diagonal. I'm not standing next to no white woman on nothing because they don't never stand next to, they don't stand next to themselves. They don't stand next to themselves. They gonna stand next to that white man, and that's gonna be that. And you know, I wasn't gonna bring this up, and because if I had, I'd probably had a clip of the video. But I don't think people really understand Hillary Clinton's history, right? Hillary Clinton is arguably one of the most prolific feminists, you could say. When she and Bill had first got together, Bill was from Arkansas, and the Arkansas people did not like Hillary, period. Hillary was a hippie. Hillary had long hair and big glasses, and her hair was dark brown, and they did not like her. And you know how they test you and see, what if you do this, will you skew better and all that kind of stuff. They found out that if she was to dye her hair blonde and get rid of her glasses, that they would like her more. Not a whole lot, but it would be just enough for Bill to continue his political career because for whatever reason, they hated her. Okay? And that's what she did. And she has kept that look up from the beginning. That look is not her. That's not how she wanted to look. But she did it for her man. She did it so he could have a political career. She did it so she could stand by her man. Now, we all know that he embarrassed her. If y'all don't remember that case, as he sat up there, he said he didn't do it. She stood there, like Tammy Faye Baker. She's standing by her man, all that kind of stuff. And then it came out, the DNA on the girl dress that he could no longer refute. He embarrassed her in front of the whole world. And I remember not too long ago, I can't remember because I don't really follow her like that, but I just so happened to see this one year where it was his birthday. And she wrote this long post. She was like, oh, to my husband who I love, who's been there for me, blah, 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 blah. So not only did she change her whole outer appearance for her man? Yeah, top feminist, pantsuit wearing Hillary Clinton switched her whole look up to suit her man. She then sit there and let him embarrass her in front of the whole world. He didn't just cheat on her. I mean, dad. He didn't just cheat on her. He embarrassed her. He trashed, like, it was embarrassing. And she stands by her man. But at the same time, and then not only that, but I think you know why she wears those stupid pantsuits? Because, one time she had gotten out of a car or did a speech or something, and somebody had, took a picture of her dress, and she didn't like that. So that's ever since then, it was pantsuits season after that. So while she wears pantsuits to cover up her business, she sat there in a garden with her daughter and Meg Thee Stallion telling the world that they about that WAP. She preaches this feminism to the world. But like I said, when her man needed her to change to cut her hair and dye it blonde, like the blonde bombshell he wanted her to be, she did what she needed to do. She fell in line, and she's been in line ever since. She ain't never switched the hair up and got her glasses back. And nope. She threw all that hippie stuff is gone. He embarrassed her. She stood by his side like Tammy Faye Baker. What more part of feminism is that? That's not the feminism that she's feeding the world. But if you look, and I don't see how that's not obvious for people. I really don't understand how that's not obvious for people, because it's so obvious to me that she's really, really fake with this feminism garbage. Okay, so let me see. Let's continue, because I really wasn't expecting to go there with the whole feminism thing. I really wasn't. That wasn't part of the program tonight. But the spirit led me. So, we goes where the spirit goes. So I'm gonna show you this clip with Dr. Claude Anderson. Okay.
Critically analyze all the schemes, techniques, tricks, laws, public edicts, everything that the dominant white society did to socially engineer you into the lowest level of a real-life monopoly game. You've been sold into it. You have no substantive leadership. The leadership you got right now is totally committed to what they set up under the benign neglect policy, which means let's fabricate all these other groups that take away the benefits that black folks should be getting. Let's give it to them. We'll fabricate new groups and call them fabricated classes. We'll now come up with things called minorities, poor folk, people of color, diversity, multicultural, and gays. Those are fabricated classes. Now, I wrote the first affirmative action plan in 1970 for the state of Florida. When I was over education for the state, I did not write it for minorities. I didn't write it for gays and humpbacks and lesbians and midgets. I wrote it for black folk.
So here's somebody who actually wrote the first affirmative action laws. And he's saying that he did not write it that way. It was changed and doctored and made for humpbacks and everybody else. Okay? So as is made for all that, he called them fabricated classes. So as is made for these fabricated classes, I just want to bring to your remembrance, because I've talked about this before. This isn't the first time. I've talked about this before. Let's see. We're going to go to... here we go. No, this one first. This one. So this is an article out the Times. Okay. And we're not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of long. I'm just going to read a small portion. Here we go. The proportion of Black first-year students enrolled at Harvard this fall has declined to 14% from 18% last year, according to data released by the institution on Wednesday. A dip smaller than the school had predicted, but still significant. Okay. Asian American representation in a class of 1,600 students remained the same as last year at 37%. Hispanic enrollment has gone up to 16% from 14%. Harvard did not report the share of white students in the class, consistent with the past practice, and it's hard to make inferences because the percentages of students not disclosing race or ethnicity on their applications doubled to 8% this year from 4% last year. Now, that sounds like they're saying that, because they ended affirmative action, that, the amount of Black students that could qualify to be there was not, right? That had gone down because, we're not as smart. That's what they're trying to say. That's what they're trying to say. If we don't have, affirmative action, then that's exactly what's going to happen, right? Right? Oh, well. Let's take a look, because this article says, and this is the Harvard Crimson, okay? This article says, experts are confused by Harvard's race data, and here's why. Now, we're going to go all the way down. We're going to skip down because I'm only going to read the important parts, but I always add the links to everything on my YouTube. Hold on. Here we go. This part right here. He added. Something is missing. Okay. It's supposed to go, when I saw the numbers, blah, 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 representation. It introduced, I think, for many people, an element of confusion. That's so crazy, but I'm gonna read it from this paper. Must have got cut off here. The college reported in its press release that out of those who chose to share their race in the class of 2027, 18% of students had identified as Black. 37% is Asian, and 14% is Hispanic, and 2% of Native American, and less than 1% is Native Hawaiian. However, this is where it picks up right here. However, when members of the class of 2027 enrolled in May 2023, the college had announced that 14.1% of students identified as Black. So the number was the same. They tried to make it seem like, that we had lost numbers due to affirmative action. You see how they skewed the numbers? They tried to play with the numbers. And I want to remind everybody that the whole reason that this is an issue or a question or whatever it is because the Asian students felt like that Black students were taking spots away from them, not realizing that it was the legacies that were taking the spots. So because they felt like that, they decided to challenge affirmative actions, or they let white folks use them to challenge affirmative action. And then now they have even less Asian students than they had before, and it serves them just right. I think that's hilarious. So they're skewing the numbers to try to make it seem like, that Black admissions had gone down because we didn't have affirmative action. Okay. So Let's see. However, when members of the class of 2007 enrolled, the announcement was 14.1%. 29.8% identified as Asian, and 11.1% identified as Hispanic or Latino. The Crimson independently converted Howard's previously reported demographic data for the class of 2027 to the college new scale, calculating racial demographics as a percentage of the 96% of students in the class of 2027 who Harvard said chose to report their race, rather than as a percentage of the entire class of 2027 student body. And you mean to tell me that these people at Harvard didn't know what they was doing? Yeah, okay. So with this methodology, the numbers shared by the college may suggest that out of those who chose to report their race, approximately 14.7% of the class identified as Black, 31% as Asian, 11.6% as Hispanic, and 2.4% as Native American. Several percentage points difference from what the college reported Wednesday. So like I said, they knew what they was doing. They was trying to make it look like. So again, all of these people are hopping on our backs and receiving benefits while we get nothing, while we get the blame, while everybody gets to look at us and say, why you guys don't pull yourself up by your bootstraps? You guys are living in the, the country that gives everybody everything. Yeah, but they don't give that to us. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to play, let's see, speaking of people who hopped on the train, I wanted to talk about some more people who hopped on the train. And this is going to be an interesting, this was something I did not know. Now, there's a guy on Twitter, and his name is, hold on, let me pull it up. Twitter. Forgotten Latino History.
EvenMelanin.com. Smooth and even. Let the go begin. Age with grace at Even Melanin. Radiant skin where beauty sprung within. Feel the love with Even Melanin.
Hey fam, tap in with your boy. Let's get us back together, man. I know we can do it. It's your boy Omizi. Do you good? My brother D out here with us. Everything.
Place, man. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, don't worry about the Red Cross. Donate to and if you look at my Twitter, let's go to my Twitter at DeJuan. I have my people I want y'all to donate to. I've been posting the links all day. Go to my Twitter. I got the links up to my boy Derek, my boy Tay. These people lost their houses, they lost everything. Everything that they know, gone. Please donate to them, please. If it ain't nothing but $5,